Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in the sim, and everything seems to be running okay. I don't see any jiggles or jaggles or joggles or anything like that, but we're going to see how everybody does taking off. To give you guys a preface of what this whole thing can look like, this is it. So we've got 4 cameras going on right now inside of DCS, 4 different camera views, and I can guarantee today that I am going to screw up. There is a lot of stuff going on. I think I forgot some of the skims, like the 64th on some of these cameras, so just be aware that that is a thing. But before we get too much more into that, let's bring in Low Blow and Billy. How are you guys doing today? What's going on? Low Blow, we'll start with you. How is everything?
Yeah, busy, but looking forward to today's matchup. This is going to be a good one, I think.
Hopefully. And there is going to be a little bit of jiggling, guys, as these guys take off. So just be aware that there's going to be a little hiccup as we move away from the airfield. So that'll fix itself as we get away from the ground. But Billy, you're back. You were gone last week. Welcome back. How are you?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, no, I was out last week working on the website and stuff. No, I'm pretty good getting through that. Hopefully, have that bad boy launch this week. And I'm ready to be back in the action here. Enjoying the new format, the new views and stuff. Looks like definitely provides a much better perspective on this whole thing. So
you're ready to watch me royally screw up everything, aren't you?
Yeah, no, like I said, it feels like you're juggling some bowling pins there, and I'm excited to see you do that here. I think, once again, like I said, I do think it really does offer a much better, how it builds a better situational awareness for the viewer at home of what's actually happening in the fight. And I think since day one of this whole thing with me and you, that's always kind of at the forefront of how can we improve the experience, and it's like, how can we help build that situational awareness for the people watching at home? And I just think this is definitely a step in the right direction for something like that,
Right. Yeah, so I turned up the voices a little bit. That's going to be a work in progress because I had to change how the whole audio thing was done because I had to bring in 2 more cameras. So bear with me, guys. It's going to be a struggle. I'm going to be on the struggle bus as I get used to this for a little bit because there's a lot of stuff going on my screen right now. And I only have 2 arms, and my brain is compromised after being defeated by a delivery truck a while ago. It can't take everything that it used to, so just be aware that there's a little bit of a learning curve behind this, and we'll get through it. But Low Blow, you said you looked at the stats and everything between these 2 teams. What are your thoughts as we get into this?
Right, well, Toro are latecomers to Diamond League, so their stats basically showing them at 0% win rate at the moment at a 0.04 KD with 1 kill. So we can't draw much from that. It's too early on Toro right now. But 64 are right up there near the top of the division. They're currently sitting in 2nd place behind Tor. And they're on an 83% win rate with a 2.58 KD and 67 kills to their name. So they're a very strong team. I don't know whether Toro are going to be able to stand up to the pressure today. I hope they can put on a good show here. But what do you guys think is going to happen?
From what we've seen from 64th in the past, Toro is going to have a pretty big showing in order to make something happen here, at least in my eyes. Billy, what are your thoughts coming into this?
Similar here with what we don't know about Toro and what we do know about 64th, right? Ocean, probably between those 2 things. So I don't know. Obviously, you lean towards the very experienced group in 64th here. But I am really curious to see what Toro brings to the table and what they can do against the team as former goal of 64th. So I'll be curious to see what tricks they try to pull out of the bag today and how 64th responds in kind to that. So it looks like we got ourselves a barn burner here, depending on how this goes.
What do you think? The fact that Toro are just running Hornets here, Malta.
I think they're going to have the situational awareness advantage. Do I think they're going to have the energy advantage? Probably not. I think they're going to struggle a bit because the Hornets just don't have the energy that the 16s and the F-14s are going to have. So they've got the situational awareness advantage. They got the pods I'm seeing from Toro Fur, and that leads me to something that we actually need to talk about. So let's go through and talk about who all is flying. So we've got for Toro, you've got Chippy, Poker in F-18s, Reese Caparzo, Look Avi, and Mustang in 18s, and then Fur 109 in the final 18. So 6 18s for them. And then down here on the 64th side, we have Yaga and Combs leading the way in Vipers, a F-18 being represented by X-Men, Tau Hermit, and Rage. Sorry, Tau Hermit's actually in a Viper, and then No Wheels in the Singleton 14. So do we think the 14 is going to have anything going on here? This is pre-last Phoenix breakage patch. So Phoenix is not broken in this. This match is from October 3rd. So no Phoenix shenanigans going on today.
PSA, there was a hot fix today, guys, for some of the recent issues from the patch. The Phoenix fix was not in there. I believe we're going to see that a week from tomorrow on the 18th.
Yeah, I talked to Big Newey, and he said he didn't think there was a fix involved in that.
Well, you know, looking at this already, these guys are 75 miles out. We got Yaga and Combs up in the troposphere here, 38,000 feet, and Yaga just about to pass through Mark 1.5. So these guys adopting a bit of a sweep profile. Combs is not sticking with him though. He's back at 1.16 right now. But Yaga pushing ahead through Mark 1.5 now. And he is looking at Reese Caparzo there, who's down at 21,000 feet, Mark 0.8. So a huge altitude and energy advantage to Yaga there, should he decide to press.
Well, and something I got to point out is look how much closer to bullseye 64th is than Toro Squadron. And that may just be down to the speed that they're taking on Ingress. I mean, Combs and Yaga, as you pointed out, are well above Mach 1. Yaga at 40,000 feet, Mach 1.5. He is almost a full Mach faster than Reese Caparzo and or Fur. So do we think that is going to play a significant role as we see the first missiles come off the rail? Toro Squadron's at 20,000 feet with Reese Caparzo, and Fur is at 24,000 feet. And if anybody thinks Reese Caparzo's name sounds familiar, that is because that is the Reese Caparzo that does the fan videos. So I got to give him major kudos for everything that he's done for the community. The fan videos are phenomenal, so thank you for that. But I think energy coming in here in the first pass is definitely sitting in favor of Yaga in this one.
I mean,
let's talk about.
There.
Sorry, Billy, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just giving Yaga the hat tip there. He's usually coming in at Mach 2, hair on fire. It doesn't really matter where or what he's doing. He seems to be able to generate quite a bit of speed in that F-16,
right.
More so than most people. That's for sure.
Well, I was just going to say, have a look at Toro at the moment, and they've definitely got a tactic here. We can see that Fur 109 and Reese Caparzo are bracketing. They're now 22 miles apart. Reese Caparzo going feet wet, and Fur 109 bracketing inland there. And the rest of the team has basically just been biding their time to get some separation. Now sitting about 30 miles behind the two jets up front who are bracketing. So, interesting tactic here. The fact that Reese Caparzo is now just anchoring in position there over the coast, and Fur 109 anchoring as well. I don't know. I don't feel like they've got enough separation between them with 23 miles to really make that an effective bracket. For me, 64 is still looking at those two jets, on the scope together. Whereas if they really wanted to, maybe break down 64's SA here, they could have bracketed wider and then had the other jets push up through the middle. What do you guys think about that?
I think this is just going to come down to an energy game. I think this is going to come down to whoever's able to maintain the energy, impart the most energy that they can on their missiles. There goes the first launch from Yaga. We saw that come off his jet, and we can see it coming in on TAC view. I think that's on Reese Caparzo. That was launched from Mach 1.5. He went inverted at 40,000 feet. So that missile's going to have some significant smash as it comes in against its intended target. Let me see if I can grab it. See if we can get it. Where is it? There it is. So let's grab that, and let's go to this view so you guys can see it as it ingresses. But like I just said, I think it's going to come down to whoever is able to maintain the highest energy state for the longest period of time. And I think that statement right there says that the benefit or the pros are going to rest solely in the F-16 side. The F-18s just don't have the ability to maintain that energy. They don't have the ability to get to those speeds that the Vipers and the Tomcats are able to do.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, riding along with this AIM 120, oh, there it goes. I thought it wasn't tracking anybody at all, but it is indeed tracking somebody as it comes down from the troposphere on top of, I can't tell who that's actually on. It's either on Poker or Mustang, I think. But I don't think it lost track. Yeah, it does. It's not able to keep track.
Yeah, we could see Yager out cold there at the moment, passing through 17,000 on his way back up into the 20s, I think. Combs was briefly up at 38, but he's back down to 19,000 now. And you got some pretty high jets coming up through the back now, about to pass over Bulls. Tal Herman up at 42,000, the no wheels in the Tomcat at 41,000. So, you know, these guys are definitely bringing potential energy advantage to this fight. They're not super fast right now, but they're definitely high.
That 120 also flew right through like a puff, the chaff. Saw it go right through it. So I think they were able to defeat that with countermeasures there.
I didn't see that. Good observation.
Yeah, I caught the glimmer of it right as it kind of went through. So I might be wrong. It'd be worth going back and looking at the tape and compare the tack view, frankly, because it does look like they were able to smooth that, which is pretty interesting.
So Tal Hermit and Rage now bumping the speed up, passing through Mark Point 1. And there's a 10,000 foot altitude split between those two guys. And it looks like Toro are basically forming a bit of a lemming train as they head down the coast here. And we, you know, we've all seen lemming trains before, and they don't tend to work out too well.
No. You need to have a bit more of a plan than that in most cases.
Now, when you're talking about lemon trains, you're talking about the guys just coming in one at a time. We've talked about this repeatedly, week after week after week, that when you commit into groups that are all together as singletons, things have a tendency to not go very well for you. So Rage is ingressing with Tau Hermit. Right now we can see them coming in on the tack view here in the middle of the screen. I know it's a little small, but I'm going to try and give you guys the situational awareness advantage here. So Rage is in the bottom left corner. We've got No Wheels in the bottom right, who just unloaded a Phoenix onto some intended target. I don't know who that's going to be on. Reese Caparzo is now egressing. He's going to be in the top right picture of your screen, and then X-Man is in the bottom left. I know that was in no particular order, but you know, I'm trying to keep on track of what's going on. So we're going to flip over from No Wheels perspective and see if we can grab that Phoenix as it ingresses in on its intended target. So here's the Phoenix. Let me lock my cursor to this view so I don't lose it. So here's the Phoenix. Let's grab it. That is going to be this camera. And watch it as it comes in on whoever it is going to be on. It looks like it's on somebody in the back line. And we've actually got somebody, I think it's Rage, is running away from a 120. So Rage, we're going to get away from that Phoenix because it doesn't look like it's tracking anybody. Here's Rage with the 120 running away. Don't think that's going to be any particular problem for him as it was launched from a decent ways away. But something I got to point out, Low Blow and Billy, is that neither of these teams are being fairly, in any way, shape, or form, aggressive. They're both just biding their time. You think this is going to come down to a fuel game or a weapons management scenario?
There's definitely the airframes. You know, they're carrying quite a few weapons and enough gas, at least a majority of the guys. I don't know. The distances were far enough to where that could be an issue. Do we have AWACS for this, by the way?
That's a good question. I am not entirely sure. There is no AWACS. You know, there is no AWACS.
Okay, that's that. I think
this is going to be all PPLI.
I think that's going to kind of allude to a little bit of why we were speaking about it's not been that aggressive, right? The information probably isn't there for them to be as aggressive as maybe we're used to seeing in some other matches, right? So they're probably at this point trying to build that situational awareness or that, you know, get that better picture of what the other team is actually doing. And as that comes together, I think we'll start to see 64th here begin to engage with some probably, I'm going to assume, some really good parameter shots. I think that's what we're used to seeing out of them, right? That those guys know the numbers where they need to shoot at to have the higher probability on the kill. So I think we'll see that. We're already seeing Chippy here now looking like he's taking a whack at Yaga here with a 120. I think that's where that's going.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I think the thing is, I think that with the experienced teams, you know, like 64, Tor, you know, once they decide to engage, they drop the hammer pretty hard, and we tend to see the opposing teams collapse pretty quickly. And you know, I think that comes back to what Billy was saying about shot parameters. You know, they tend to shoot you know, fast and close, and those missiles are pretty hard to defend against. And just, you know, you can't discount experience, right? They know how to operate their sensors. They have good situational awareness. They know how to not overcommit themselves. And you know, I think that's going to carry them fairly well today.
Agreed, and I think 64th is one of those teams where if you don't have a game plan to give them a look they have not seen before, or something that you know is going to stifle what they're trying to do, it's going to be a long day. They're a team that they're coming into this with a game plan, with very good knowledge of the situation and what's going on. And like I said, you really have to be on your toes and have a solid game plan to beat these guys. There's no doubt about that.
An example of that right now is happening right over the coast as we speak, with Rage out cold defending against that 120, and Tau Hermit just keeping the pressure on and forcing both Reese Capazzo and Chippy to pump out cold there.
And that view gave a really good look at how difficult it is for that 120 to really pull that angle of attack it needed there to not hit the ground, as he very easily maneuver killed that 120. So he never got within 2 miles of him, which is impressive there at that split S from that distance.
Tau Hermit's really getting the press on. He's pretty isolated between him and the closest companion that he's got. Rage is 11 miles behind him. He's now going to have to defend this incoming 120 that's been launched from Mustang. But he immediately defends it. It was launched from 16 miles. I don't know if that was just a reactive defense, seeing that missile come off, or if he decided, hey, I got a little bit too far ahead of my other companions, I need to turn around. So I like that defense. Yeah. He didn't get in too deep, didn't overcommit, recognized maybe I'm a little bit too far away. Let's see if we can rejoin with everybody else. But Rage now is coming in head-to-head against Chippy.
Yeah, and also with No Wheels backing him up 24 miles from Chippy there. So if we see a Phoenix from No Wheels right now, and Chippy's, you know, not really aware of that Tomcat, and he doesn't respond to that Tomcat on its timeline, instead responding perhaps to just RWR, he could be in trouble here.
Right. Rage is now defending against a 120 that was launched from Chippy. Give you guys the split screen of Chippy and Rage in this close-in scenario of what's going on. Both of them split-essing, both of them in Hornets. And do we see a Phoenix? There is an AIM 54 coming off from No Wheels, and that is going to be from 20 miles. I'm going to grab it so you guys can see it coming in here. And I'm going to try and give you guys the quad view so we can see exactly from everybody's perspective. So Chippy's upper left, Rage is in 2 cameras on the right, and the Phoenix is in the bottom left, and that is coming in on Chippy, and it is 5 miles away right now. And guys, I think Chippy's in a world of hurt, about ready to get hit by the pain train as this Phoenix, the telephone pole, ingresses on his position.
And he turned cold early too, you know, so like I said, you know, in terms of responding to that timeline, I think by the time he was at 24 miles, he was already in a lot of trouble, even before that Phoenix had been shot.
Right. Right, and actually the Phoenix doesn't even pose a problem. I think he blacked out and just went into the drink. So really unfortunate there, but, you know, Phoenix, even if it doesn't hit you, if it causes you to go into the ground or the drink, counts as a kill. Maneuver kill is still a kill.
And, you know, this is what we've seen out of 64th when utilizing those Tomcats, right? They know to get within close enough range to where that Phoenix is going to put you, it's either going to kill you or it's going to put you into a position you don't want to be in, like we just saw there, where basically force a maneuver kill because he probably was aware how close that thing was coming in at him, right? So it forces that decision making that just doesn't end up, you know, putting you in the place you want to be in most cases.
Right. Now let's take a look at this situation here. At the moment, we've got Yaga and X-Man holding off 3 fighters inland there. Combs is basically a free fighter, and you know, we've got the possibility for a 4v2 over the coast. If Combs decides to track towards the coast here, they could easily overwhelm Reese Capazzo and Mustang, I think.
Very true. But, very true.
I'm not sure whether Combs is actually going to make that decision to make the trip over to the coast, but you know, that there for those 2 Hornets over the coast for Toro is a scary situation right now, and I wouldn't want to be there.
So here's the point of view from Combs as he ingresses against Fur. I'm going to see if I can grab Fur's point of view here real quick so you guys can see it. Fur is launching all the things. So he's put out several 120s. You guys didn't get to see him launch, but we've got Combs on the right, Fur on the left. And he launched several missiles in on Combs. Combs takes the early defensive approach as he gets those pit bull warnings. Let's throw up the TAC view. TAC view? You gonna go up? You're not gonna go up. So 120s from Combs. I like that Combs didn't launch. He recognized this probably isn't the best launching position for me to be in and decided to break away. But the new thing that we need to pay attention to here, guys, is Mustang getting a little bit isolated. He's the only hot contact down here in the south against Tau, Hermit, and Rage. Do we think that's going to play a role here? Rage is now head-to-head with him, and is he going to fly into something that he maybe can't get out of? They are exchanging 120s. I got to give TORO Squadron credit here. They're doing an equally applicable job of defending these missiles as soon as they need to and not waiting too long to get a missile out on the opposition and get themselves into a bad place. So I like what I'm seeing from both teams. Here's Mustang now defending the 120 coming in against Rage. Shouldn't be a problem. Do we see it? There's the 120 2 miles away. Rage doing a little bit of energy management, trying to get that missile out of energy. He maybe thinks it's a little bit closer than it is. It's 2.5 miles behind him. So no issue there. Not going to be a problem as he runs away from it.
And part of the problem that Toro have right now was the one that you pointed out right at the start, Maltar. Their backs are up against the wall to some extent. You know, 64 really own Bullseye right now, and if they decide to push, you know, Toro don't really have anywhere to go. They have to fight.
Yeah, they do. The bubble's a little bit bigger than we may think it is, but they definitely have their backs pushed against the wall. X-Man here we can see defending an incoming 120. Shouldn't be a problem for him to get away from, and I'm going to try, as I get used to these cameras, try and juggle the audios as we get through this. But X-Man's now defending that missile as it ingresses towards his position. Nobody's really overcommitting or committing in any real sense of the word in this fight, guys. Everybody's being really patient. I've said that before, but usually that patience and teamwork breaks down, but both teams doing a very good job of not overcommitting or getting in too deep and being able to not support one another.
So I think that, you know, a lot of that has to do with the lack of the AWACS providing that bigger picture, right? So you have basically you're left with the PPLI, which is, you know, can be a lot and a little at times. So I think with that being said, right, it slows things down in some regards as it forces the team to work a little bit more unified to be able to kind of create that picture themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, good exchange here. You're zooming in on, I think, Yaga and Fur.
We're looking at Yaga and Fur, but the one I think we actually need to be paying attention to is Poker, who's got a really close missile on him. So let's flip over and take a look at him. So here is Poker, and he's got a really close 120 somewhere. There it is, 0.5 miles away. But again, guys, it keeps happening. These guys are defending when they need to. They're not overcommitting. They're doing a really good job of getting their eyes out of their cockpit and paying attention to their sensors and making decisions ahead of their airplane.
Right.
They're thinking ahead of where their airplane actually is, and I really like what we're seeing.
Now, that's a scary Phoenix from No Wheels there at 14 miles on Reese Capazzo. Reese is out early, and that Phoenix is still under burn, so...
Let's grab Reese. So here's Reese, and the Phoenix is right there. We can see it coming off of its booster. 1 mile behind him. I think he's going to be able to line of sight it, guys. It's going to... Yeah! Dang! That got really close. That thing well defended by Reese Caparzo to line of sight that. If that was launched from any bit higher or, you know, lofted any bit more, Reese was going to be in big trouble, but he line of sighted that beautifully. Well done by him on that defensive maneuver to trash that incoming Phoenix.
Yeah, really good. Now, up in the up inland here, we've got some close shots. These guys now within 13 miles. X-Man defending against a slammer and loosing one off against Look Ovi by the looks of things.
So, yeah, X-Man is now defending. Here's his point of view. The 120 is somewhere back there. There it is, 0.3 miles back. Don't think that's going to be any problem for him to be able to get away from. Let's give you guys the TAC view so you can see the missile coming in against him behind X-Man's aircraft. But if we zoom out and take a look at the overall TAC view picture, I don't there's really not a whole lot going on. Rage is the only one hot for the 64th side. We've got a multitude of different hot contacts for TORO Squadron up to the north. Rage is now ingressing against Reese Caparzo. Reese Caparzo just put a missile out against Rage, so they're trading a bit. Rage hasn't defended yet. Do I have a camera for Rage? I don't think I do, so let's grab a camera for him. And here is Rage now defending that 120 as it ingresses onto his position. He didn't put a missile out on Reese Caparzo. Here's Reese Caparzo down here defending, but flipping back to Rage as he's trying to get away from this incoming baby telephone pole that I don't see. I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere.
Now, taking a look at what's happening out feet wet here, we've got Tau Hermit deciding to go wide and try to bracket on Mustang. We could possibly see a situation where Rage and Tau Hermit both commit on Mustang and Reese Caparzo not in a position to help him out. So I'm interested to see how this situation feet wet develops here.
I think you're planning this accordingly, but it may actually not be Tau Hermit that's going to do anything. I think the person that's actually going to play a factor here is going to be the Phoenix coming from No Wheels. I think that's actually going to be the one that is going to play the role here. So here is Tau Herman on the left, No Wheels on the right. I'm going to try and get a view here. So here's Mustang. We're going to follow along with his... Nope, that's not Mustang. We're going to follow along with Mustang's aircraft on TAC view. So let's flip there. So there's Mustang on TAC view. No Wheels is in a pretty good launching position, 23,000 feet. He's really close to Mustang, and Tau Hermit and Rage are now both cold. All right, so here, let me grab this point of view. I think Mustang is just, he's coming into the trap that has been laid by Tau Hermit and Rage with an incoming No Wheels. And No Wheels has a couple Phoenixes remaining, and Mustang is at 23,000 feet, 400 knots. And this is going to be a bad, bad time for Mustang. I don't know, no matter what he does, if he's going to be able to get away from any of this. They're both turning in against each other, but No Wheels' is Phoenix. That Mark 60 is going to have a ton more energy as it comes in on its intended target. There it goes. And where is it? There's 120. Where's the Phoenix? So here's the Phoenix. There. But he now has to defend a 120. That is not who I want to be looking at. And a Phoenix. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's trying to run. Mustang, you're not going to outrun these. He defeats the 120, but that Phoenix still burning and smashes into his aircraft, and he gets taken down. So Mustang is the first actual missile casualty, as the last one we saw actually plummeted into the abyss. So Mustang is the first one to actually get hit. And what do you think led to that, guys? I think it was just him isolating himself and finding himself all alone and allowing three guys to commit onto him together.
Yeah, he really got isolated and just bagged there. But, you know, that it's not often that we see a Phoenix under full burn hit someone, so that was pretty cool. So.
Right.
Give you guys this view so you can see what's going on. It is now a 6v4. No combatants for the 64th side have been taken down yet. 2 combatants for TORO Squadron have been taken down. Now, Yaga is defending an incoming 120. Let's flip to him. Don't think that's going to be an issue. There it is, 4 miles away behind him. He's going to be able to out-energy that. He is very fast at 620 knots. Not going to be a problem. We now have ingresses coming from Combs, Tau Hermit, and Rage from the south as they've dealt with that south element. And it's now a 6v4 here right over or east of Glenzik.
Yeah, and Combs coming in at Mark 1. Looks like he's looking at Reese Caparzo right now. 9 miles between those two guys. And he's got backup on the way. Another 3 jets coming in behind him. He's now defending a 9M, a sneaky 9 Mike at 8 miles from Reese Caparzo. To go
Sometimes those work, but you got to fly into him. You got to fly straight and really be kind of oblivious that somebody may put that long-range 9M. They're an invisible ET, if you take what I mean. They're very hard to see, but if you fly in a straight line, they will reach out and touch you in a bad place and cause your aircraft to go down in flames.
Yeah. So now Tau Hermit. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
No, I was just saying, Tau Hermit at 10,000 feet, you know, I mean, I would like to see him climbing right now. Can you think of any reason why he might be staying down at 10, Malta?
Not really. I would like to see him climbing. He could just be trying to conserve a bit of fuel and not expend his energy to get that altitude back. He does have a multitude of friendlies around him. When you're in this close against combatants, it's not necessarily a great thing to be super high, so he may just be a little bit worried about where everybody is. I mean, we do not have AWACS, so that very well could be him just worried about where people are. But now we have an exchange between him and Fur, and we're here in split screen. Tile Herman on the right, Fur on the left. Camera's taking a little bit of a tank there, but Fur gets taken down. Tau Hermit with the kill, so the altitude problem for him didn't turn out to be an issue, and I got to pause it to make sure we don't miss anything. Okay, so we're paused. I just got to pause it to make sure we don't miss anything. These guys are very, very close together, so I want to make sure that we're not missing any close incursions that are bound to take place. So let's see. I think Rage is going to be the one to watch. So we're going to hit play and get this back and going. So riding along with Rage now. And he's got to be careful from Look Avi over here to the left.
We saw Fur 109 just go down there. I'm
yes.
not sure if anyone commented on it. That's
yeah, we just saw him go down. And that was, I think what you were alluding to there, low blow about Tau being high, not high enough. I think a big part of that was he was just worried about maybe being too high when he didn't know where everybody was without not having AWACS. So I can't really fault him in that situation. Now we have X-Man and Combs coming against Poker, and TORO Squadron's downfall here, ladies and gentlemen, has really been they're just not committing together. Poker is getting isolated. He may get dragon bagged here by X-Man if he turns away. He's giving his flank to Combs. Have to see what Combs does here. Here's Combs' position.
Now look at this. Break. Look at the situation unfolding between Poker and X-Man up there. X-Man is completely isolated. I wonder if he's just going to go for a hard recommit on Poker here and engage him. 10 miles.
I think this is going to be a dragon bag situation. X-Man has baited Poker into this situation, and we are now seeing Poker get dragged right in front of Combs. So this is not a good position to be in. I'm actually going to pause this so we can set up these cameras real quick. So Combs is going to be in a camera. Poker is going to be in one as he's defending. And I know this isn't hugely exciting for you guys, but guys, I'm trying to get the cameras set up so we can see this as good as we can. Give another one to Combs. We're going to catch the missile as it comes off. And then this one is going to be a flyby. All right, here we go. So we're going to check out the cameras. And this is the Combs Poker engagement. And I think this is a perfect setup by X-Man, dragging Fur right in front of Combs for this easy kill. Flanking kill, just right in front of him, and Poker doesn't get away from that one. The cameras are a little bit off, and see if you guys can see this. And he just gets taken down by that 120.
Yeah, and now we've got basically a 4v2, and Riz Capazzo and Look over in the middle of it, really, at the moment.
Yeah, 4v2 is going to be rough for them to be able to...
I mean, it's a 6v2. It's a 6v2.
Sorry, it's a 6v1 now. We lost somebody go down. And now it's Riz Capazzo all on his own. He is by himself now, and I don't think he's going to be able to make any sort of thing happen against a 6-ship, especially with the altitude that 64th has here. This is going to be really difficult for him to do. He trashes that incoming missile. Zoom in so you guys can get a better view. Here's Riz Capazzo's aircraft. Let's set up TAC view so you guys can follow him.
No Wheel is going for the bracket out there with the Tomcat. No way. No matter which way Riz Capazzo turns right now, he's surrounded unless he pumps cold.
X-Men pressing on him. Riz Capazzo trying to make something happen. He's doing a little bit of a serpentine. No Wheels has broken off his press. X-Man puts a 120 out on him from really close. Riz Capazzo responds with a 120 of his own. X-Man fires another one. And let's jump to Riz Capazzo's view as he tries to defend these incoming 120s. I think he's going to be okay getting away from those 120s, but we're just, I think, prolonging the inevitable. And he's just eventually going to get run down. I mean, the altitude lies solely with 64th. Reese Caparzo's given up all of his altitude advantage here. He's now recommitting right in front of Combs.
I mean, it's clear that the guy can fly, but SATAL's not just about that.
No, unfortunately, it's not. No matter how well you can fly, if there are this many people out in front of you, bad things are bound to happen, unfortunately. Missile incoming on Reese Caparzo. I don't know that he's going to be able to outrun this one. Where is it? It should be right behind him. There it is, and it comes in and smashes him, ever looming. And that is going to be it for the TORO Squadron side. And man, oh man, did 64th come out in force.
Indeed.
Well, it all started with Chippy and then Mustang getting isolated out of the coast there, and you lose 2 jets now into a 4v6, and that's telling, you know.
It's telling for a... Yeah, it's telling, and it's difficult to come back from. I mean, that's going to be troublesome. That's going to be a huge hit to their morale. They're going to be really dismayed with that result. It's going to be really hard for them to come back from that. Not even getting a single kill is tough for any team to come back from. I mean, that's going to be rough. What do you think they need to do, guys? I mean, how do they come back from this?
Billy?
You know, I mean, I think at the end of the day, when you're a team that's coming in like Toro, very limited experience in Diamond League, you know, you can study the film as much as you want, kind of try to learn and how to formulate a game plan. But I think at the end of the day, Diamond League is really just one of those experience-based things where you need the reps against teams kind of that play like that and that can play to that level, I think, at the end of the day. So I'm not sure what they can do in the moment here in between matches to all of a sudden make themselves at that level here for that. But I think coming out and trying to avoid the traps that 64th can kind of lay there, like we see them, you know, they're very good at drawing people into that 14's range, right? You know, we've seen them do that countless times here this season alone, where they bait you and they lure you into that Tomcats range. So avoiding stuff like that, I think, is crucial for Toro here going into the second round. But I think at the end of the day, guys, there's a gap between the experience like we're seeing here. It's going to be tough for a team like Toro to come out.
Right.
Really
It doesn't look like they had to force back the RTB. They said, nope, we're going to restart the server and move on. So they end up taking that one. 64th does 6-0 in that opening round. That's going to be rough for them to come back from. So I'm going to hurry us along. We're not going to do an online debriefing because I have to go take care of some stuff for my new house that's being built. I got to go meet with one of the contractors. We're going to move on to the next round and see if Toro is going to be able to come back. So I'm going to send you guys to Supercut while I get round 2 set up for more DCS action. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am just getting into the tracks. We're going to be fast-forwarding here in just a second. But, guys, we talked about it briefly. What did you guys think of that round? I mean, what does Toro need to do to come back? What does 64th need to do to make sure they don't go down?
let's take this from Toro's point of view and their mindset coming into this next round. I think what they need to do is set aside any preconceptions about 64th and their experience level. Just put all the psychology to one side and fight what's in front of them. They're bringing 6 Hornets against quite a mixed, round up here. 3 F-16s, 2 Hornets, and 1 Tomcat, and we know that the Viper can bring a lot of energy to the fight. We know that the Tomcat, once it gets within 20 miles, is pretty lethal. They need to, I think, capitalize on any brief moments that might arise where they can isolate someone and then employ element tactics against that individual and remove them from the fight. And if they are able to do that, then all of a sudden we could see a 6v5, a 6v4 in Toro's favor, for example, and 64 are then, having to make up the difference, so to speak. But if Toro can't do that, then I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Right.
I think one of the problems there is that, with the all 18s versus the litany of airframes that we see 64th using, it really limits the Hornets to kind of play this game where you have to play the long game with 64th, where you really have to watch the ranges at which you get in close to them, because in almost every situation, you're going to be at the disadvantage of that BVR, right? You're not going to be able to generate the energy that those guys are going to be able to generate on those commits, right? So it's really incumbent upon Toro to play the long con there and kind of draw them in and try to waste the missiles. The old strategy we see with the 14 in a lot of cases, right? You have to try to bleed them out. And like I said, I just think that's a experience-based thing within this, right? So that would be my strategy going into it, right? Try to get these guys to shoot at me in as bad of a situation as I can give them, right? So only get close enough to those parameters that they're looking for, right, for a second or for a few seconds, right? You want to try to make them waste a shot as many times as you can. I really think that's the name of the game here, just based upon the airframe comparison or matchup, rather.
What are your thoughts on Toro not contesting the middle of the bubble?
Well, I think that's maybe that might be their them understanding the range game here and the fact that they're going to be at the disadvantage in the energy state in most cases, right? So venturing to the middle of that bubble in most cases is probably going to put them in a bad place as far as within 64th Wes, right?
Sorry, guys, just getting everything fixed.
It's tough from Toro's perspective, when you're facing a mixed lineup like this, the fact that 64 have the big stick at the back there, the Tomcat, they've got the ability to rapidly change the energy situation in the fight with the Vipers, and, the Vipers can completely out-energy the Hornet. It's a tough one to solve, but I think it is solvable. If you gave an equally strong team 6 Hornets, I'm sure they could make something of it, but really it does come down to strong element tactics, I think.
Right.
If they can't isolate someone and shut him down, then it's going to be hard.
And there's no terrain here to help either. I think in maybe some different venues, right, you're going to have some more terrain that would lend itself to this type of matchup, right? The higher terrain is going to give these Hornets the advantage they're looking for, that they could really leverage the situational awareness that you get with a group of Hornets working together, right? With a bunch of flat terrain in the situation they're in and what they're facing, they really can't leverage that PPLI for a whole lot. Now, granted, not having the TAC or the AWACS is definitely puts the F-14, let's say, at probably the bigger disadvantage of any plane out there, right, as far as what its tactical displays give it in scenarios like this. So I don't know. I would be trying to use that against that 14 as much as possible, right? So, you're really not going to shut those 16s down. They have that PPLI. They're going to be able to share information with the other Link 16, fighters, right? But that F-14, however, it's working on Link 4, and it's not going to be able to utilize that information. So if I can take that piece of knowledge, right, and use that against the 14, I'm going to be trying to work that into my game plan.
Right. Malta, what's your plan with the Jahimix update for the Hornet moving forward?
There isn't a plan yet. I'm really going to have to wait and see how it plays out inside of SATAL. We may just end up taken it, put it on the back burner, see how it plays out this year. Because I don't want to gimp a jet. It does have it. And there's no real way to tell how it's going to impact SATAL without it impacting SATAL, right? So obviously it's going to more so incur and have more of a profound impact on the merge, where you're defending those 120s, breaking away, going into the notch, maybe losing contact, looking over. You're going to be more readily able to find a contact in close than you would be able to without it. In the BVR game, it's really not going to matter. But in that merge, that's where it's going to matter. Now, will it play a role in SATAL? I don't know. We're just going to have to see in how it gets going. I don't know.
After using it for a little bit now, I think, bigger takeaways with it for me are, really the situations it's going to help with are down low in terrain where your sensors do not see the contact, a buddy or the AWACS does. I really think that is the true situation where that is going to be a factor, right? And at the end of the day, I think it is the far bigger asset to the Hornet recently is the AZEL page. That is so much more valuable than that Jay Hickmas could ever be to the person with the right knowledge who knows how to utilize your top-down view and your front-forward-facing view with the AZL page. You're able to really figure out who and how to sort contacts at this much more rapid pace. So I don't know. For me, the AZL page is truly one of the things that makes the Hornet OP in a lot of other jets. Now, granted, it doesn't have that energy state, no, but you're able to process the information at a much more rapid rate, I think, within the 18.
So we've got time, Merlin. Do you want to go ahead and just explain that AZL page in a little bit more detail for us?
So the AZEL page is basically taking what the radar is seeing, but instead of your normal radar display page is giving you a top-down perspective, right? The AZEL page, however, is giving you a forward-facing perspective, so it's showing you elevation. So now you're seeing on your right-hand screen where the contacts are in front of you top-down, but on the left-hand screen you're seeing where the contacts are in a forward-facing view, so how high they are in comparison to your jet. So you get this secondary kind of visual of where your radar is looking, and it allows you to kind of sort and process who's doing what a lot quicker, I think. So it just feels like it's one of the more beneficial pages within the Hornet when you're doing BVR.
Mm-hmm. And that stands for azimuth elevation, I guess, AZEL?
Right, I believe so, yes.
Does that have a range limitation on it, or is it literally just, if it's looking out at 160 miles, you're going to see that as well?
I'm not off the top of my head, the range limitation. I'm going to assume it works off the same range limitation as the radar itself. So right at, you're probably going to start to lose contacts, right at that in and around the edge of that 160 mark right there. So yeah, it does create, like I said, a much better situation. We always talk about how good the situational awareness in the Hornet is, and like I said, when you're using that bit of information, it really does help improve that to another level.
Yeah. Now look what's happening here. We've already got two Toro jets, Lukovi and Mustang, cold. So far out from the center of the bubble there. I think we're going to see another situation unfold where 64th are just going to claim bullseye and keep Toro on the edge, or pushed out from the center for sure here.
I do want to point out I had to turn off one of the cameras because we were getting some stutters here coming in the round one or round two. For some reason, DCS doesn't like to play multiple tracks in a row. It maintains. I need to remember to close DCS and relaunch it. I don't know why it does that, but I closed it. It was the fourth camera, so we're down to 3. So hopefully it ends up working okay. I don't think we're going to have any problems, but we are down to 3 cameras.
Yeah, and what's funny with these strong teams, you don't tend to see them get into merge situations in these rounds. It's all sorted out, well before then, and that's what they say, don't they? If you get merged in modern air combat, quite a few things have gone wrong, and you see these strong teams manage that quite well.
Right.
A little bit of fast forward to get these guys closer. Go ahead.
I actually like the tack view in the large fourth picture down there. As much as I'd like to see 4 planes, I think keeping the tack view there is quite nice. Gives you good perspective on all of it.
watching these
agree.
guys ingress together. Bring it back down here in just a moment as they get closer to one another. Separation should be inside 50 miles. No. AIM 54 is being launched by No Wheels. We are riding around along with No Wheels in the bottom left camera and camera 2. We've got Chippy in the top left and then Look Ovi in the top right. But no Phoenix is still being launched. We do have a couple 120s being launched from the northern 2 ship of Yaga and Combs. Are they going to play any roles coming in onto Fur? There goes a Phoenix from No Wheels. So let's bring down the speed here and bring it back down to parity. There goes the Phoenix being launched from No Wheels. And that was a decent launch. It was up at 40,000 feet over Mach 1, and I think that's going to be on Reese Caparzo. Think he's going to be able to get away from this, guys? I think he's going to be in trouble. He's still climbing at 16,000 feet. Can we see that Phoenix? We can't see it yet. Zoom in here. It is on Reese Caparzo. Is it? No, it's not. It's not on him. It's flying past him. So
Now for the audience here,
on?
we're talking about a 30-mile spread between the Toro guys who are feet wet and the feet dry guys. So about a 30-mile spread there at the moment. And it's interesting to see what Fur 109 is going to do, which side of the fence he's going to cross over onto. Because right now we've got No Wheels, Comey and Rage pressing down the coastline past Bulls to get a fight on with those 3 guys down there. And Fur 109 might be, you know, the deciding factor. If he were able to come across and turn that into a 4v3, you know, particularly on Rage, and this is a situation I was talking about before, you know, TOR need to identify and take the fights they think they can win. Do we see someone get obliterated there?
Yeah, Mustang got taken out by that AIM 54. He got caught too high. I thought initially the missile was on Reese Caparzo, but Mustang got slapped and just taken down. It was definitely more than a bitch slap, and he just got demolished, taken down. He is the first casualty, and that is not a place you want to be, guys. That is not a place you want to find yourself in when you lose round 1 and then you take the first casualty going into round 2.
Yeah. So No Wheels, Comey and Rage not even stopping for a tea break here. They're going to just press, I think.
Well, I think that's what you need to do. You don't want to wait. You don't want to allow the other team to gain their composure back. If you don't have anybody shooting at you, press, press, press. Keep the aggression on. There's no reason to break away and get the hell out of Dodge when you have all the advantage.
I was going to say, the blood is in the water. They smell that at this point, and we're seeing them react, I think, in that way right now.
So here comes the AIM 54. It is on Chirpy. Let's grab it. It's going to be in camera 1. So here it comes, 6 miles away from Chippy's aircraft, 1,500 knots, 20,000 feet, closing inside 4 miles now, 3 miles coming up. And Chippy, he may be okay. That missile's bleeding energy, and it's bleeding it rapidly. So I think he's going to be all right. Can we see it? There it is. So let's go back to our tri-view so you guys can see it. So Chippy is on the bottom. The 54 is at the top, and he's going to be able to get away from that with no issues. Over Mach 1, missile's already down under 900 knots. He is in the clear. No problems there whatsoever. But there's no pressure being put on the 64th side. They're flying free and clear with no issue, with nobody pressing down their throat, and it allows them to think more clearly and make the better, more sound decisions.
Well, the shots are long, you know. We're looking at 15-mile shots from Toro. We just saw a 15-mile slammer from Reese Caparzo on Comey there, and now another 15-mile slammer from Lukovi on Yaga. And, you know, 15-mile slammers against 64 are not going to cut it. You know, they need to be faster than this. They need to be, you know, closer than this to make these slammers work. And right now, all they're doing is lightening their jets for no real gain.
That's a solid point. And I think, like as we were saying earlier, you know, going up against 64th, you need to do things like go in and not shoot, because you're going to have to shoot before them to put yourself in a situation where you're trying to stay on the offensive there, and that's just not going to result in you getting a high probability shot. So, you know, for me, it's like I'll keep beating the drum there. It's bleeding them of missiles, right? I'm going to come in and feign that shot almost every single time and put myself in the notch. Both try to at least, and this is one reason why I like to use the camera, right? You know, go in and press on them until you see them shoot, maneuver out of it, right? You know, you're trying to work missiles off their jet at the end of the day there, and the more times you can get in there and weasel those missiles off that jet, I think it is in your best interest against a team like 64th, right? You want to have more shots than them at the end of the day, right? You know, when things start to get towards the crunch time in the match, if you can have more missiles there, I think you're going to have a good shot against them. But if you just waste all your missiles at those longer ranges where you're not in good parameters, it's going to be a short day for you.
And if you look at the map right now, Walter, if you're able to zoom out just a little bit, what I'm seeing are 5 Toro jets, none of whom are providing mutual support to anyone else. You know, they're all isolated, not in any real position to employ element tactics. And, if anything, they're just setting themselves up to get, have the reverse put on them by 64.
Yeah,
they're scattered at this point now. It's getting spaced out there.
It's going to be interesting to see if 64th is going to be able to capitalize on that scattered separation that TORO Squadron is currently exhibiting. I'd like to see aggression really come out of 64th. They have an isolated contact down here with Chippy, with a 3-ship No Wheels, Comey, and Rage down here that they could definitely capitalize on and then swing around through the southern element of TORO Squadron. The question is do they recognize that this is actually taking place? So Chippy is hugely isolated down here to the south, and no one from TORO Squadron is in any remote possibility in a place where they would be able to support him in his current position. So we can see him right here. He is 11 miles away from the nearest enemy contact and 25 miles away from his nearest friendly. So not a good place to be in. He really needs to have a friendly swing down here. Reese Caparzo and Fur need to get on their horse and come down here and support him. But at the same time, 64th really isn't capitalizing on this singleton isolationist mindset that Chippy is exhibiting. So we can see Chippy coming in and putting a 120 now on Rage and No Wheels. As we can see No Wheels, it looks like coming through cons and getting away from that, but nobody really hot. Comey now coming in from the left onto Chippy. But Fur, it looks like on the right side, if we flip over and look at the camera or on the map, is finally coming down to support his brethren who's down here by himself.
And that really puzzles me, Walter, because, we just spoke about, blood being in the water and 64th not stopping for a tea break. And then they stopped for a tea break. And they didn't press Chippy when they could have easily shut him down with that 3v1. So I'm a bit confused about that myself.
Well, and now look at how isolated or non-combative Yaga, Combs, and Crips are. They're up here to the north. They're like 30 miles, 25 miles away from the nearest enemy. Got to be aggressive. You've got the man advantage. There's no AWACS. I'd say, find these isolated contacts and press, and then if you get an RWR contact, you're in the 16s. You could tell within a decent distance of how far away people are using that RWR. If you get a close contact, then go defensive. But if you just see the singleton guy, press your advantage. Otherwise, you're giving the other team time to reassert themselves and get their composure back.
And I think, we talked about stopping for the tea break there, and I think that a lot of that is the no AWACS. The picture needs to be built, and that takes time. And I think what we're seeing there is, a situation to us that may look like, why aren't you pressing, may not be as clear to them in those jets with the information they're currently getting. So I think that kind of has to be taken into account there with the pace of the match. I think in a lot of cases that AWACS will dictate that pretty greatly.
Yeah, it'll dictate it, but I think if you don't have AWACS, you can almost be more aggressive if you know you're confident in how your scan ability is. You've got PPLI, you've got, if you scan well, you can be pretty confident that what you're seeing is what is actually there, as long as nobody's pulling some shenanigans trying to get away from your radar beams and pulling Doppler effects into the notch. So
true.
I think
it would only take one of these Hornets to say, "Hey, I'm counting 5 dots out there," and we already took one down, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, granted, there's terrain here now, as we see off the coast here. All it takes is one of those jets to get lost in there, and then that becomes a bit more challenging. So, like I said, I'll still keep leaning on the fact that the AWACS is going to really dictate the pace at which these matches take place, right? You're only moving as fast as you can process and acquire the information, right?
Another 15-mile shot from Chippy there at Mark Point 9, and we've alluded to this before. Rage is not going to eat that to the face. Let's be honest. That is literally just a waste of a slammer right there. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Comey now pressing against Chippy. Chippy breaks away. I don't think it was necessarily a bad shot. It wouldn't be a bad shot if he had mutual support to push Rage in and try and get Comey isolated. But you got to have some sort of game plan when those launches actually take place. So Comey, I like instead of. There you go.
On Comey.
The camera's got.
I want to point something out on Comey because it's impressive.
Hold on, I gotta fix the.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you need the map, or what do you need?
No, I just it was more in the moment. Comey basically has all of his missiles left still on his plane. I think in a match like this, that's impressive. It's what we're talking about, right? Comey's going in there and he's drawing out shots. He's getting guys to shoot at him. He's getting in tight enough to where he probably in most situations could be using. Look, there we count 6 missiles all still on that plane. I just think that that is where you should be at in some of these situations here, right? So worth noting that he hasn't had a shot that he needed to take, so he hasn't taken one yet. And time and time again, I think that should be pointed out when guys do that, because it shows the composure that you need to have in a match like this. So
right,
boom, there we go.
On the flip side of that coin, Comey, you need to turn your lights off, brother.
And that also solid point.
So we've got Chippy, Comey, and Fur all ingressing into a possible incursion. I really like the liveries that TORO Squadron's rocking. But these guys are coming head-to-head into a possible incursion. Let's hit the play button and see how we get on. Here we go. So Chippy is at the top. Comey is top left, Chippy is bottom left, and Fur is top right. So I'm going to get the
That's a double tap from Yaga at 9 miles on poker right now, up in the north.
Oh, where is that? And he's going to get taken down, I think. I don't have time to flip over the camera, but he gets taken down, so he's dead. Poker gets annihilated, but I thought there was actually going to be an incursion down here to the south, but again, Comey says, not worth taking a shot. I don't, so he turns away. Still has all 6 of his missiles remaining. And having all 6 of your weapons remaining as the match progresses into the late game gives you a pretty sizable advantage.
It really does. We see it time and time again here. The man with the ammo in the last few moments is usually the man to walk away with the victory. It's just the way it goes in a lot of these matches. And like I said, I think we talk about having the ammo at the end, but it's the more important part about that is he's drawing these missiles out of them in the process of doing what he's doing and not shooting. So I just think that needs to be pointed out as well there, because it's so important that you get them to shoot their missiles when you're not shooting yours.
But the other thing that's impressive is he's managing his fuel really well. It looks like he's only at 0.9. He's not he's not running around in gate Mark 1.1 hair on fire. He's just patient. He's doing a really good job of that.
Yeah, no, and that's important, because it's not easy to draw those missiles out, and you can easily waste a lot of your fuel. Is that one engine on for that Hornet?
Yeah.
Which
one? Look, he just had one in gate.
Yeah,
maybe.
Just
yeah, that might. Yeah. That's right.
Rage now defending a 120 that came in from his eastern side. Shouldn't be a problem as he's running away from it. No issues for him. He's over Mach 1. 64th is all really fast. Now, you guys brought up a point about fuel management. The Hornet does pretty well, but I'm starting to see they don't have tanks. Reese Caparzo just jettisoned his tanks for the Toro side. Are we getting into the stage where fuel is going to be more of a problem as things continue to unfold?
I don't think we're there yet, but it's certainly getting to that point. It's shaping up like we're going to get to that point. There's no doubt.
I got to fast forward it here a little bit, guys, because I really have to get out of here in a few minutes. So
And,
I know this isn't a whole lot of fun, but we're going to fast forward to when I know there's some action.
I'd like to. Bullet makes a good comment on that Carol Baskin livery. I believe one of the Toro guys is using. Love seeing the tiger print stuff.
Yeah, I like seeing things that are different. Different is cool.
Right.
All right, so we're looking at Toro basically forming up in 2 ships right now. The problem is that Riz Capazzo and Chippy are facing off against 3 jets. That was a pretty, what do we got here?
Those were bad
13
shots.
miles right now between
Those
Riz
were bad
Capazzo and
shots.
Rage.
And that's a good shot, too. I mean, nothing wrong with those shots being taken. When you're inside, 10 miles, these are all good shots coming from Comey onto Chippy and vice versa. All well defended. Nobody's doing a really good job. I've got to give Toro Squadron, for them being new to all of this, they're doing a great job of defending these incoming threats. So we're gonna come out of the fast forward here. I'm gonna pause it so I can get the cameras back under control, and we're gonna go back down to normal speed. I just have to get things fast forwarded here because I'm gonna have to go here in just a few minutes.
So Toro, are they Spanish? Are they a Spanish squadron or are they international?
Yes, they are Spanish. They are definitely Spanish.
Just like the Hornets targeting pod.
Yep. 120 now being launched from Fur. We saw it come off his rails onto Yaga, and that is going up here to Yaga, so we're going to grab his view. He is defending. Nobody's really making mistakes. Everybody's defending early. Can't fault anybody. The Phoenix staying high on the first casualty. That was unfortunate, but that happens, especially against the Phoenix. You get prioritized on other things, and then you forget that you're that high, and you get taken down. So you really can't worry about that too much, and I can't fault them too much in any way, shape, or form. But now we've got a close missile. First one launched from Comey, I think, and it's coming in on Chippy, and it's 3 miles away, 2.5 miles away. Chippy is not in a really good notch over Mach 1. I don't think he gets away from this one, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to go down as a notch on Comey's belt if that's going to be able to reach out and stay with him. Point 1, is it going to barely catch him? And it was actually a second missile that got him. The one behind him just barely didn't have the energy to be able to stay up and grab him, but Comey able to use those late missiles and make them count.
Yeah, there's just another example. Comey getting into. I mean, there's that one. I didn't have a chance in hell at getting away from that missile at that range. Comey knowing where the situations where he's going to get the most bang for his buck, and executing there quite nicely.
I think did we miss somebody? No, we've still got everybody. So 3v6 now. AIM 54 coming out from No Wheels. Looks like it's on Fur. So let's grab Fur's point of view here.
He's admitting there. That's bad news bears all day long. That's an AIM 9 that comes off the rail, I think.
That may have been a mistake. I don't know why you would launch an AIM 9 in that situation, but the Phoenix is trashed. Phoenix is down to 700 knots. It's doing its aneurysm. I don't know what I'm doing move, and Fur does a good job of defending against that. It was a decent, idealistic launch coming from No Wheels, but Fur does a really good job of out-energying that missile as it comes in. But Toro Squadron is in a 3v6 situation, and this is going to be tough for them to be able to overcome.
Absolutely.
That's all 3 of them there on the screen right now, right? Kind of coming through there are some of those missiles.
No, it's all 3 of them down to the south.
And they've maintained a very low altitude this whole time. And I don't know if that's them trying to utilize that little terrain that is there. But I'm not sure whether that was a good or a bad move for them as far as the altitude game goes. I mean, we're normally, I think most of us here, proponents of trying to get as much loft as you can get there. But AIM 9 out of Lugovi at what Crips there, doesn't look like that's going to do much.
I think it's a lot of those AIM 9 shots are coming down to Toro Squadron just not having the weapons remaining that they need in order to make any type of decisive action happen. I think that's their biggest issue here.
Head on, you're just at that range. You're not scaring anybody with an RWR warning or anything like that. You're just wasting a missile there. So hopefully these guys can take away some of the information as far as the ranges at which they're engaging here, and fix it next time.
Well, now Fur
could be
is
in a bit
getting
of trouble here.
really close against Rage. Rage had a really good launch on him. We got the head-on view from Fur. We've got the side-on view from Fur, and I think he's going to eat this. There comes the missile from the top, .1, and he gets smashed, and Fur gets taken down. Rage got in deep, waited till the last possible moment to launch it, and takes Fur down. And the next guy that I think is going to be in a world of pain is going to be Look Avi, or could be Comey, as he comes in here on this right side situation in a 1v1. I think it's actually against Combs, and Combs has a serious altitude advantage. And Look Avi doesn't have. Look Avi doesn't. He's got a 120 coming in on him from high altitude. Behind him, where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it, but it's getting closer. Oh, it died.
No,
nope, it hit him. So there it is. So it was a little bit of desync, so he ended up getting taken down. And there were 6, and now there are 1. And Reese Caparzo is the only man remaining for the Toro Squadron side. And 64th still has not taken a casualty. And I'm assuming Yaga was getting close to running out of fuel, so they send him back just to make sure somebody's back at base already.
He was, I'm assuming that was part of the game plan. He was pretty aggressive and in the kitchen at Toro early on in this round, and that makes sense. And like I said, with a team like 64th, would not doubt it if that was part of the game plan from the start to kind of send him out there and rough things up from the get-go.
Try and get some views here. Comey launching down.
There's a Sparrow from, what distance is that? A 6-mile Sparrow from No Wheels there.
Don't think that's going to touch him. Comey is the prime contender to make something happen here. As we see him ingress onto Reese Caparzo. Let me grab, where is Comey? There's Comey, and he's just coming in from the top. I don't know if he lost the view, but I think the Tomcat from No Wheels is actually in a better position. Here comes an AIM-9, and it's coming in on Reese, and Reese gets taken down, and that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. 64th commandingly dispatching Toro Squadron and making a show of it with no pilot losses in either one of these rounds.
That was a beautiful heater from No Wheels there at the end, too.
Comey almost got himself in trouble. It looked like he lost situational awareness or eyes on his contact, maybe a little bit too fast, didn't judge the closure rate quite well enough, and just came well over the top, or maybe No Wheels called him off, and No Wheels just took an easy shot on the recommitting Reese Caparzo. But got to give credit where it's due. 64th came out and had a really good showing in this match against Toro Squadron. You guys have any closing comments? Because I got to get my butt out of here.
Well, kudos to Toro for coming in here and putting on. I mean, I know they got smacked in the face pretty hard, but they flew reasonably well. I mean the 15-mile shots, maybe push those into 13 or 12 miles even and get a bit faster. But I think with time they're going to become contenders in SATAL if they keep coming back.
I definitely agree with that. I think for a team coming in that didn't have a lot of Diamond League experience, right? They actually did pretty darn well when you take that into consideration there. I think there is definitely a lot of potential with those guys, and as they begin to figure things out and formulate some game plans for teams like 64th, they talk about a baptism of fire. This was their first Diamond League match, right? Or they have one preview to this. Yeah, so I mean that's never easy to come in and kind of learn that from a team like 64th. So. It only will make them stronger, I think, in the long run there. So hopefully the next time we see them out, we see a stronger showing.
All right, guys, that's going to be it. I'm going to try and find the next schedule for what's coming up. The next match is going to be Thursday, 343rd Naval Air Group against Tactical Fighter Squadron 81, and then Saturday is going to be German Tactical Air Group against Eclipse Task Force Premium Edition, and those are at 1600 Zulu. So make sure you guys retune in. I'm going to try and do some finagling and some fine-tuning with these cameras. I think we're on the right track. I think it's more encompassing of the action, but we're going to be more inclusive with stuff. I'm going to get better at knowing where the cameras are. I got to get some finagling and stuff done, but that is going to be it for today. I'm going to move on and go talk to a landscaper and some tilers at my new house and try and get all that taken care of. But until next time, guys, 1600 Zulu this Thursday, 343rd Naval Air Group against Tactical Fighter Squadron 81. See you guys then.
See ya.